Welcome back to the channel. Lots of questions in the comments always about, yeah, well, you know, what do you have that's bigger and badder, and I need stronger, I need tougher? Well, you're welcome. So we found it. We've been selling these for a while now, but I thought, you know what? The internet has asked, we're going to answer. Kids, this is the AMSEC CFX 582820. You're gonna get really educated right now. Let's get into this video. $250, okay? So let's talk about it. We like to play a little game of what's called what you see in front of you. And that said, we're gonna roll right into dimensions. Right? You see them, here we go. This bad mamma jamma in front of you stands in at 64 inches tall. 'Tis 34 inches wide. Now, let's get tricky, the depth. The depth is called 29¼ inches. Now, what do you think about that? Is that it does not include these mammoths right here. Certainly not this behemoth down here. Go ahead and add 2 inches. So when you're planning for, can Robert and his entire crew get this thing in the place where I want it to go, be adding those 2 inches for real, and then some. So oddly enough, I told you the name of the safe, CFX 5820. That's rude. I told you the name of the safe, CFX 582820. But then I told you some really weird dimensions that seem to have nothing to do with that. The name of the safe represents the interior dimensions. Not to get ahead of ourselves by looking on the inside, we're not going to, but now you understand the difference, okay? So also what you see in front of you, this would be textured charcoal gray. It's 3 words, and those 3 words fell right in my head. There's the CFX family, I think there's 3 finishes available total. So that's gonna be with chrome, and they're all gonna be with chrome. Polished chrome, if you wanna call it that. I like to use those words because I'm used to saying it on the gun safes. With the polished chrome hardware, 3-spoke handle on the front. Obviously the large pull handle as well. And then we coast into the hardware, which is obviously chrome. So yes, that is going to be a Group 2 mechanical lock. And it's very specific. That makes it that much harder for somebody to try to hear or feel their way through it. Yes, there is the option where you can get the keypad if you'd prefer it. As we always talk about with AMSECs, they make their own keypads. So this would be equipped to go to anywhere from the ESL 10 to the ESL 20. And you can get into all their audit trail stuff as well into something like this, which is really cool, right? Who opened it, when, see all that on your PDF, your phone, whatever. The hinges, man, they are wild, guys. Look at this. I can palm 2 basketballs at one time with one hand, and look how big. It's a mild exaggeration. Not a tiny hand though, that is a monster. Really cool, they're even adjustable. So if need be, you can actually adjust the door up and down because that's a lot of weight that you're probably gonna see some movement over the years. So there's an adjustment within the door to get it up and down as well. Staying with what you see in front of you, you can't see it yet, I guess, technically, but we're gonna get really into it. That wall right there that I just put everything into and nothing really happened. Well, I put a big crack right here. You just can't see it from that angle. It's the lighting, it's weird. But it's 3 inches thick. And we're gonna talk about that some more, I promise, because it's crazy and I like to show you. I do want to talk about the fact that I just ran into it like an idiot and it didn't budge, and why. Well, I'm gonna get into the weight soon enough, but why? Okay, well that's because there's so much steel on the outside and there's so much steel on the inside of the walls. and we get to that 3-inch, and there's so much steel in the door and it gets so heavy, well, that's just steel, right? Why is it so heavy? Yes, this is concrete, okay? It's a word that gets thrown around a lot. We're just gonna throw it around. We're just gonna join the crowd. Okay, we're gonna call this one the concrete. This is actually 1200 PSI. What do you call that? High strength concrete. That's the easiest way to say that, I guess, okay? It is a material in-house. It is a material that actually does have shards and pieces of steel bits, and so sprinkled inside of it when they're mixing it, throw it in, which is incredible because then again, if I'm trying to make this cut attack to get inside of it, not only am I going to dull whatever great blade I've bought by trying to get through the steel on the outside, but then I start going through this concrete, all this aggregate material with the steel embedded inside of it. Well, that starts eating at my whatever wheel I'm cutting with, but then there's still another layer of steel after that. So again, it's all part of the what you see in front of you game, but you don't see it. It's kind of the same idea, okay? So I'll do one of these, I'll turn it, and I'll pull on it ever so slightly. Let's take a moment, you and I, to appreciate security. 6 inches thick. Wow. So, we've got layers of steel that go here on the front of it. We've got more of the concrete-esque material inside of it. And then we've got another layer of steel behind it. And then we get into our boltwork, which is ridiculous, but it's amazing. On this particular one, we do have 1.5 inch diameter bolts that go all the way up and down the side of the door here. And, oh, I didn't say it, I'm sorry. This series, the CFX series, is available in multiple sizes. So depending on popularity and how much the kids on the internet want to see more, we'll put the more out there. We've got other sizes here in the building, as a matter of fact. Just grab this one. Let's be honest, it's the easiest one to move right now. So, you don't see it, but up here there are no bolts. Yeah? Nor are there on the bottom. Take my word for it, you don't have to get down on your hands and knees and look. However, there is an upgrade to these monsters where you're like, hey, I want 3-way active bolts. I want bolts coming out of the top, the bottom, the side. I want it all. Okay, you can have that. That's yours. So we're focused here on that. Within the door, I guess we'll stay in the door because we're on the door, right? So within the door, there is also, true to form as anything that's worth buying, there are layers of steel on top of what the door is constructed out of, in inner plate or outer plate. Well, there's more steel inside the door protecting the lock body from the drill attempts and the pry attempts. And on top of that, we still have our spring-loaded relocker system, as we always talk about. It's like a booby trap, right? Somebody's trying to break in and I'm just gonna drill and punch and the door's just gonna fly open. Cool, you just made it 10 times harder on yourself. Congratulations, right? So within this door, again, at this kind of weight, so much of it is in the door, obviously. She's a brute, she's a beast, she's awesome. All right, so in any safe, you'll notice how you shut the door and the bolts just, they go in behind steel, right? That's 1 inch. That's a 1 inch piece of steel. Now this kills me. I've never said this to a customer, so you're welcome. This is yours, right? I found this in the literature and I couldn't let it go, okay? This is, rightfully so, this is the reinforced, drill-resistant door frame. Like I said, that's 1 inch, and it's honestly designed so that if I was trying to cut and I'm gonna get to those bolts that are way back here, there's even that much more steel. But here you go, are you ready? I'm serious, write this down. This notch inside of here, can you get a shot of this? Inside here where the bolts come in and rest, this is the bolt chamber. The bolt chamber, like a sleeping chamber. Like he's in his chambers, he's asleep. The chamber, sorry, I thought it was freaking hilarious, sorry. So, let's talk fire, because you kids are crazy and you want to know about it, okay? Right there. Fire resistant, rated 350 degrees, 2 hours, up to 1,850 degrees. It's impressive. What does that really mean? Let's do a little graph. I'm not even moving the door. I'm tired of moving the door. We'll turn the lights off. We'll make a graph so I can explain fire a little bit better. Ready? Lights. Check it out. Here we go. So again, in your mind, imagine more than likely this is in a commercial space, but it could be in your residence. Who knows, right? I'm not knocking it. We have absolutely put these in people's homes. So a fire's burning, it gets out of control, it's freaking nuts, and it's reaching all the way to 1,850 degrees. That's really hot. Now we pull out a little stopwatch, put one on the screen. I don't know, maybe we don't have that yet. Here we go. Now, the fire's going, it's running, it's at 1,800, it's at 50 degrees, and it's going for 2 hours straight. The inside of this safe is not going to breach 350 degrees that entire 2 hours. That is incredible. Here we go, lights. What I'm telling you is that paper is combustible over 400 degrees. Papers get a little wild, but like depending on if you bought documents from FedEx versus an old book, versus cash, versus your birth certificate. They're all made from different things, right? Different components of paper, but they're all paper at the end of the day, we like to call them. So they can combust anywhere from starting at like 415 or 18 degrees, and they go all the way up to like 480, 488. It's all these numbers, right? But we're down here at 350 degrees that entire time. That's incredible, right? So I told you that we could add, which is phenomenal. We can add the 3-way bolt system if we want to. That's an option. There's even an option, honestly, where you can get a jewelry tray. You can get built-in power. No, mine doesn't have it. But they can do it at the factory where they'll insert the little power strip on there so you can have lights if you wanted to, or you wanted to put watch winders, obviously in something like this, dehumidifiers, things of that nature. Those are all upgradable packages actually available from the manufacturer, which is phenomenal. So before I go too far and end this thing, because I'm gonna cut it off because I'm gonna wait for the comments, because I know you guys are gonna have them. I'm excited to answer them. This is a beast. When we call this thing the CFX specifically, this is I should have said this in the beginning, that's my bad. This is a TL30X6, okay? That simply means that normally when you hear the term TL, for all you guys have been doing your internet searches or you're getting up on it or you're not, here we go. That means that this safe was sent to Underwriters Laboratory to be tested to see exactly how long it took their technicians with certain power tools and hand tools in order to gain entry through the door. TL30. And that comes in TL15 and the list goes on. The T, let's just call it TL, let's call it tool. That's the easiest way to say it to you. That's the amount of time that tools were presented to the safe and the time that it took that they can get into it. So if they couldn't get through this door with those tools, certain power tools, hand tools, 2 grown men, if they couldn't get into it inside of 30 minutes, it passed and it's called a TL30. And with that test, that means that literally the second a tool is cutting and sawing, and the biggest, baddest saw you could imagine, circular saw with the most bad to the bone blade on it, cutting through, right? If the guy stops, he's tired, wants to get a drink, maybe his blade got hot, he's gonna go change it out, the timer stops. So the timer only runs when tools are touching and the guys are working on it. So that means for 30 minutes, whatever amount of time they wanted to take in between, they couldn't breach it. TL30X6, wherever they wanted to try to cut into it and work on it counted within that they couldn't get into it in under 30 minutes. And you're like, oh, 30 minutes is nothing. You're the same guys who tell me how I can take an angle grinder and open up any one of these safes in 2 minutes because you've seen it on the internet. I'm telling you, real professionals that do this for a living with some of the baddest tools they can get their hands on can't do this in under 30 minutes whatsoever. This isn't gonna happen in most any normal circumstance. So what all that comes together to make is a 3,418 pound Nanimal. That's why I literally took off sprinting, flew through the air like I'm Micah Parsons and did nothing but bounce off of it. It's a beast. So your retail, I'm gonna lie to you, he's gonna correct me on the screen. It starts at $17,000 retail. And it's like $17,318 or something like that, right? Most retailers that you're gonna find from it, you're not gonna pay that price. So give me a call. We can talk more about pricing. That's just the MSRP. Oh, it does have the D10. Let's talk about the D10 as we go out of here, as we shut this one down for the day. Keep your eye right there. Don't watch me, don't watch the door, watch the 3-spoke handle. Keep watching it. Don't take your eye off the 3-spoke handle. That is the spring-operated bolt-work detent system. So that you can't forget to turn that thing and lock it. Because if you had a keypad on it right now, it'd be done. It's locked. You're done. Walk away. So on this, I would have to spin that lock to get me out of it. Guys and gals, thank you. It's high energy around here, as you can see. It's the end of the day. You make me drink a lot of caffeine before I get on camera, so I'm all over the place. But ask me about these TLs or any others. Again, we're gonna get some heavy duty AMSEC type family safes in here. We're gonna talk about them. Don't forget to check out the merch. We've got a merch, we've got a link right there. Follow the link. I'm gonna need you to check it out, okay? Ask me any questions you want about this or more, and like I said, if we get hit up hard enough, I'm gonna bring in the big boy. Oh yeah, the big daddy. Neighborhood locksmith, catch you next time. Thanks guys.